Hello! Okay, so before starting this video, I just wanted to show you guys, I crocheted this little ninja plush right here. Inspired by Mario Party Jamboree coming out, so I just want y'all to know this is my personality for until Mario Jamboree comes out. But I just really wanted to show this guy off. Just look at him. He's cute.
Alright, that's enough of that. It's spooky month and I'm in the mood to play some zombie games. So today I'm going to be playing some Death Road to Canada and I'll go over some of the challenge rules for those of you guys who probably haven't seen any of my other Death Road to Canada videos. So I created all these different versions of Princess Peach inspired by the Princess Peach Showtime game. I'll play on familiar characters mode so that I'm able to run into them much more often. And my main goal is to make it past the border into Canada. I give myself 3 attempts to do this, but spoiler alert, this challenge only took me 1 attempt. Anyway, I'll go over the different perks and traits I gave them throughout the video, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. So to start off the game, I was given the option to start with 2 people, and I chose Kung Fu Peach and just a normal base Peach. So Kung Fu Peach has the perk Martial Artist, which makes it so that she's able to do karate chops, which are a very powerful unarmed attack. With the perk, she refuses to use firearms, chainsaws, and some other weapons, but like, it's Kung Fu Peach, you know? She doesn't need to do all that. She also starts out with +3 in fitness and a +1 in strength. Her trait Warrior was picked because I thought it just made sense. This trait also gives 2 points more in strength and fitness. Base Peach, on the other hand, has the perk Explorer, which gives her some extra choices during always be looting scenarios. You'll see those pop up. And it makes it so that gas costs less during these rerolls. I gave her this perk because during the Showtime game, Base Peach was able to travel to whatever place she wanted to and explored a lot of the theater. Her trait Inventive was picked because I feel like being able to become the main character of any play while also saving the theater is pretty creative and also very genius. Also, this trait makes it so that she starts with 2 points in mechanical and is genuinely a good person to have to fix a car. I started off with these 2 and they fought zombies and collected supplies needed to continue their journey. After a few in-game days, they finally came across their first trader camp and we saw Detective Peach. One fun thing about custom characters in this game is that they join the team free of charge. They don't charge you food or any other supplies, and you're also able to tell which perk and trait they have before joining the team. And besides finding Detective Peach, there wasn't really anything too worthwhile to mention here at this trader camp. As soon as they were on the road, they encountered Sword Fighter Peach, which they recruited since they had enough room for 1 more person. From my experience in the game, once you come across someone to recruit on the streets, that means you're probably going to have a siege or a sewer escape. This time it was a sewer escape. While these Peaches do a bunch of running and fighting here, I'll talk about some of the new members. Detective Peach has the perk Explorer, which I already mentioned. I gave her this perk because as a detective, she's gotta do a lot of exploring of options, places, evidence, etc. Her trait Civilized was given because her plays took part in England, and I'm sure a lot of British people see themselves as civilized, maybe. This trait also gives high loyalty and personality stats, and starts her out with +1 in medical and mechanical skills. One bad thing about this trait is that person with it tends to start out with lower morale. Moving on to Sword Fighter Peach, she has the perk Trademark Weapon, which basically gives a character a weapon that they won't drop or trade. The weapon can vary, and with certain traits you can guarantee certain weapons. Which brings us to her trait, Specialist. So this trait, along with the perk Trademark Weapon, creates a Knight Sword, which isn't exactly as cool as the fencing sword like in the Showtime game, but it's pretty close. The Specialist trait also gives 2 points to Strength, Fitness, and Shooting. But one trade-off is that she can only use 1 weapon at a time, which just happens to be her sword. After finding a way out the sewer, they went to a hardware store, hoping to find some gas. Cause in this game, either running out of gas or the car's engine breaking will cause the group to abandon their vehicle and the game gets very difficult to progress. And since this isn't a siege or a sewer escape, I can leave one person in a car to rest. I do this sometimes to have less people to look out for, and also if no one from the looting group survives, the person in the car can continue the journey by themselves. Besides gas, other things that can be found in the hardware stores include weapons that can be very sturdy and helpful. I was also really happy to see a weed whacker, since it's a very helpful weapon when dealing with large packs of zombies. There are also houses nearby that I'm able to get food and other supplies in. Peaches were able to spend a bit more time with this car and came across their first group of bandits. If a character's head pops up with a choice, it means that they are the ones doing that action. Since Detective Peach has the civilized trait, she has the ability to compromise with bandits. And after some thinking, I decided to give up half our ammo since it's pretty easy for me to find. So the next place I went to was the junkyard. I was hoping to find more gas, which we didn't, but hey, we found ammo, some food, medical supplies, and we lost our car. But Sword Fighter Peach caught some fish by hand, so that's pretty cool, right? But yeah, without a car, the Peach's morale started to drop. They ran into more bandits, and while Detective Peach was able to reason with them again, she also gave away some of the group's food because she felt bad for the bandits. Eventually, they found a rest stop with a car. So, one strategy I've recently started doing was sending one person to do the car missions because they are typically in crowded areas and I tend to lose a few teammates like this. So while everyone's resting, probably on the side of the road somewhere, Kung Fu Peach was hard at work to get a car secured. And this definitely took longer than I hoped for. There were a lot of zombies cramped in this one place, so I lured them out into smaller hordes that Kung Fu could fight alone. I had to get the keys and knew it was probably going to be in this busy room, and they were. The rest of the place was pretty empty, but after getting the keys, the group was able to progress more on their trip to Canada. Also, another bad thing about losing a car for so long is that there aren't any looting missions, which means you run out of food and other supplies quickly. And once food is out, morale drops drastically. Hope was starting to vanish until they ran into Cowgirl Peach. So I knew I had to recruit her, but the problem is the group's already full. So after a few minutes of thinking, I decided to let Kung Fu Peach go, only because I knew she's not able to use a lot of powerful weapons, and it's harder to survive in later days without these weapons. Trust me, I know. Anyway, one reason why I had to recruit Cowgirl Peach is because I figured at least one of the Peaches would leave due to an extremely low morale, and it ended up being Detective Peach. So the team was down to 3 Peaches, and I decided to do this cabin rescue mission, hoping that there would also be food in this building. Anyway, let me tell y'all about Cowgirl Peach. She has the perk Gun Collector, which I have this perk and the other perks I use at this leveled up to the max. So they have the full benefits. For this particular perk, I start off with 3 different guns, a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun, and ammo to go with them. She also starts out with +1 point in shooting. Even though Cowgirl Peach didn't have any weapons in Showtime, I thought it'd be fitting for a cowgirl to have guns during a zombie apocalypse. I gave her the trait Calm Under Fire because she's a sheriff and she has to keep a steady hand when dealing with wanted criminals. This trait makes it so that the person has high composure and an extra point in shooting. So, I see Base Peach and I see Sword Fighter Peach. Well, it looks like the new recruit didn't make it past this mission. The cabin rescue was a success, kind of, and the guy offered us some training and I picked to level up strength. Later the car got destroyed because I thought we could make it past an erupting hole. And I sent out Sword Fighter Peach to retrieve a new car. The 2 Peaches made it to another trader camp and the only thing useful there was the food lying around. Then they ran into another siege and they had some good weapons on them. But I went a little crazy with the Molotov and Sword Fighter Peach kind of perished due to my silliness. Whoops. Besides that, the siege wasn't bad, and while it got a little close, I was allowed to escape just in time. No need to worry about the team. Base Peach wasn't alone for too long as she ran into Patissiere Peach and recruited her to the team. Going over her stats, Patissiere Peach has the perk Healthcare, which lets her start with +1 point in medical, and she also starts with 7 medical supplies. I gave her this perk because she had the ability to heal the Theets after they ate some sweets from the sour grapes that turn them evil. Her trait Gourmand was chosen because her stages were centered around food. With this trait, she eats more food than normal characters, and eating a full meal can raise her morale. She also gets an extra health point. So with a character like this, food is a very important resource, and Patissiere Peach's morale goes down even more drastically if food runs out, which is why I focused a lot on looting places with food after recruiting her. After this Yellow Mart, I went to a grocery store to up my food resources. The car ran out of gas again, and Base Peach in particular got hurt a lot. But they cleared out a cabin and found keys to a new car. We then ran into Figure Skating Peach. And with all the food looting that happened recently, we had 35 food to use at a trader camp. I saw the wizard again, and while it was tempting to recruit him, I stayed within the challenge and instead just got a fortune read from him. He said the group will refuse to help someone in need and die a terrible death. Everyone felt kind of sad hearing that. But Figure Skating Peach, feels like a protagonist and wants to defy fate. Now, let's talk about Figure Skating Peach. She has the perk Ultra Fit, which gives her +4 points starting out in fitness, and she also starts out with +2 food. I gave her this because figure skating is a very hard work and requires a lot of endurance and agility. Her trait Oblivious was given to her because Figure Skating Peach kind of terrorized some of these sour grapes that just looked like they wanted to have fun ice skating. The trait also makes it so that she might ignore any moral decreases, and it gives bad rolls for perception and crits. We eventually met up with Dashing Thief Peach. She's not the most loyal, and as soon as she was recruited, she was already ready to rob someone. Also, the car ran out of gas. Again, I should probably look for gas more often. They eventually found a car, and I accidentally took Dashing Thief Peach with me. So her perk is Mechanic, which starts her with a wrench as a weapon and +2 points in mechanical and fitness skills. I gave her this perk because during her plays in Showtime, she used a lot of different machinery to break into buildings and disarm alarms. Her trait Bandit was chosen because she's a thief by name. With this trait, she has the option to steal from different traders and other people. She also has a bad attitude. So I was thinking about giving her the Charming trait, but I had to make it clear that she's a, thief, so let's make her steal stuff. Sadly, she received the same fate as Cowgirl Peach, and as soon as she was recruited, she perished. So the group was back down to 3 Peaches, and I got some good stuff from this hospital. The Peaches then went to another trader camp and got a fire axe. Then they went to an apartment, saved the person, and the person even paid in food. Flash forward to the last trader camp. We also lost a car again, but it's okay because you don't really need a car when it's like one day until Canada. And at this last camp, Mermaid Peach was recruited. Also bought a grenade launcher and some gas for the weed whacker. So I'll skip the next siege. It's an hour and a half in-game time, and I'll just skip to the big 4-hour siege. So I was prepping everyone, making sure the weapons that they have made sense. I try to make sure everyone has a swinging weapon and a shooting weapon, so if they get tired from swinging, they can start shooting to regain energy while still taking out zombies. Also wanted to make sure that the Peach I'm playing as, which is Base Peach, has the healing spray in case anyone needs it. Also gave her the grenade launcher to make sure that I'm the only one dealing with the explosives, even after what happened to Swordfighter Peach. While they're doing this fight, I'll talk about Mermaid Peach and some of the other Peaches that didn't make the video. So Mermaid Peach has the perk Friend of Dog, which makes dogs more attracted to her and she can recruit them onto the team. The reason why I chose this perk is because dogs are supposed to be kind of like fish, you know? You can't really befriend a fish in this game. And inside her place during Showtime, she befriended fish and they helped her solve like all her problems. So this perk wasn't really shown in this playthrough because we met her at the very end and no dogs could be recruited at that time. Her trait Nurturing was picked because I think it went in line with the saving cursed Theets thing that she did in Showtime. The trait also makes it so she starts with +2 points in medical and has a great attitude. One Peach that didn't make the video is Ninja Peach, which I really wish she did. I tested her character out to see if her trait and perk worked together. She had the perk trademark weapon and the trait anime fan, and she was able to wield a katana. Also, if her morale exceeded the normal maximum, then she turns into a magical anime girl. I'm sure I'll show off this trait some other time. The last Peach that I create that didn't make the video is Mighty Peach, which had the Mega Buff perk and hero type traits. I also wanted to do Radiant Peach with the Shield of Hope perk and Phoenix trait, but I was tired of just grinding out Zombo points to unlock all these upgrades, so she's not included in the list. After using up the entire grenade launcher and large amount of explosives stored in these buildings, all the Peaches were able to survive. The four continue their journey to the border to Canada, which brings us to the end. So I double checked to make sure all their weapons were loaded and ready and everything they had was useful. Everyone ended up having 2 weapons that were useful except for Base Peach, who just had the fire axe and a healing spray. So when I usually start the last mission, I typically don't have a full team and I just set whoever's there to running mode. Because after you get past like a lot of these beginning zombies, everything's fine. But after seeing this large crowd of zombies, I was like, I'll set them to fighting mode so that we can clear out this large crowd of zombies and avoid losing anyone. After I saw that there's a path that they could take between some cars, I switched them back into running mode. So the 4 Peaches did some weaving, and as soon as Pacicia Peach got hurt, I switched back into fighting mode. I made sure that once they got to a safe place, Base Peach used a healing spray on her. And I'll fast forward the Canadians helping them. Basically, it's just a bunch of zombies show up, a Canadian robot shows up, defeats all the zombies, border opens up, and yeah, these Peach transformations are the ones that made it. So this was the first time that I've ever got a group of 4 to Canada, and at this point while I was recording I was like, I don't know, I didn't think I'd make it this far, on the first attempt at least. I usually use multiple attempts, but I guess Peach is just kinda overpowered like that. Anyway, that'll do it for this challenge. I had a lot of fun planning out how to represent each Peach, and might do some more character themed challenges in the future. If you could think of any challenges to do with this game, comment them below, and until next time, see you guys later.